and welcome. My name is Alan, and we are here today with more news and politics from around the world for Thursday, November the 30th, 2023. Today, we will start off with this. From the lever, we have artificial intelligence is denying Americans health care. You know, in this rush for, oh, artificial intelligence, what a great thing. No. No. The lever breaks down how the country's largest health insurer uses artificial intelligence to deny rehabilitation services for older and disabled Americans. This is why we need to get rid of insurance. I've made this point over and over before. On this week's episode of Lever Time, producer Frank Capello and senior editor and reporter Andrew Perez are joined by healthcare journalist Bob Herman, who recently co-authored a report for healthcare industry news organization STAT, detailing how the country's largest health insurer has used artificial intelligence to deny rehabilitation services for older and disabled Americans. So yeah. If you want to go ahead, they have transcripts. But essentially, summation is the Insurance United Health Group has claimed that its algorithm, which predicts how long patients will require rehab services, is used solely as a recommendation. But its subsidiaries' case managers allege that the company pressures them to adhere to the algorithm's suggestions in order to cut off payments as quickly as possible. This issue is affecting Americans enrolled in Medicare Advantage health insurance plans, the privatized version of Medicare operated by private insurers as an alternative to traditional Medicare. Yeah, insurance companies, they need to be kicked out of the equation. Basic health care should be something guaranteed to you as an American, as a human being. There should be no charging you into the dirt, into the ground 6 feet under. I think all your basic coverage and emergency issues should be covered by healthcare providers. There should be a nationalization of the healthcare system so that all pay goes equal. So, you know, there isn't no big CEO and COO and CFO because it's a company trying to make huge profits. No, we want it to be a government-run system so that everybody is treated fairly because they're all useful and valuable. Anyway, yeah, like I said, y'all can read this. I always leave the links in the description. So, this I thought was fantastic. Over 800 terrestrial exoplanets visualized and arranged according to their equilibrium temperature and size. So, you know, the mean temperature, the one more where they're sitting around about. So, the coolest, middle, hot, and then you can see the size at the top, some of the big ones there. That big boy is by far the biggest. Here we go. We can see all kinds. And for those who are wondering, yes, Earth is an exoplanet right there. It's not big when you consider the way other exoplanets look. Very similar continents, clouds in some of these other exoplanets they've seen. But look how much bigger they are than Earth. Earth's not a big planet. Not a big planet at all. And then, boom, there's big boy. Kepler 277c. It is a mega-Earth, the largest rocky planet known. There's Kepler 277b. So these right here are in the same solar system. Solar system Kepler 277. This is second planet. This is third planet. Mega Earth. Most massive rocky planet known, with a surface gravity 10 times Earth. So you try to stand on it, it's like, ow, ow. You would weigh so much more. It'd be hard to move. Because, remember, the weight's only similar to what the forces of gravity are. So, yeah. But I thought that was very interesting there. So, yeah. Now, let's go to the next chart we have here. Another one that's just interesting as heck. Oh, we don't even need that, so, okay. The most popular website on Cyber Monday 2023 by state. We have New Mexico, Arkansas, and Mississippi are Walmart. The rest, the most popular was Amazon for Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday is essentially the Black Friday equivalent for online shopping. So yeah. Oh goodness. Look at all that. Anyway. Next chart we have, data is beautiful. Yeah, that's where I get a lot of these charts. Okay. Reddit reveals top 12 surprisingly common bad habits ranked by public opinion upvotes. Now, what I find funny, number 2 is people paying inattention to social interaction. And number 5 is social media addiction. They kind of intermesh. Others we have, the biggest was defensiveness to the unknown. So trying to defend things you absolutely have no knowledge about. Stopping in doorways, number 3. Interrupting, number 4. Materialism, number 6. Not actively listening, neglecting car maintenance. Sometimes you can't help it if you ain't got much money. Using the phone while driving is next. I know there's a number of people who do that. Lying, not washing hands, and littering. So, yeah. Some interesting graphs there. Next, this is from the National Security Archive at, I believe that's George Washington University. Henry Kissinger, the declassified obituary. The primary sources on Kissinger's controversial legacy archived, obtained, and published previously secret records on Kissinger's role in secret bombing campaigns in Cambodia, illegal domestic spying, support for dictators, and dirty wars abroad. So his dirty record basically unveiled. There it is. Okay. Secret bombings and wiretaps. White House Telcon summary of Kissinger conveying Nixon order to commence secret bombing of Cambodia to Secretary of Defense Melvin Laird. March 15, 1969. White House Telcon, the President, Mr. Kissinger, Kissinger briefing to Nixon on preparations for secret bombing raid over Cambodia. Third document, briefing Kissinger on success of first bombing raids. Fourth document, Kissinger and President Richard M. Nixon, December 9, 1970. Nixon remains anxious about the Cambodian situation. In his telephone call, Nixon orders Kissinger to direct bombing attacks on North Vietnamese forces there tomorrow. He wants to hit everything there, using the big planes and the small planes. I don't want any screwing around. Document 5, Kissinger and General Alexander M. Haig Jr. A few minutes after receiving Nixon's call on Cambodia, Kissinger telephones his military assistant, Alexander Haig, about the orders from our friend. After he describes Nixon's instructions for a massive bombing campaign involving anything that flies on anything that moves, the note taker apparently heard Haig laughing. Both Haig and Kissinger knew that what Nixon had ordered was logistically and politically impossible, so they translated it into a plan for massive bombing in a particular district. Not identifiable because the text is incomplete. Yeah. Document 6, Colonel Alexander M. Haig Technical Surveillance Request. Document 7, FBI Head J. Edgar Hoover Wiretap Surveillance Report to Richard Nixon. Wow. In one of a series of reports to President Nixon on individuals targeted for wiretap surveillance by Kissinger's office, J. Edgar Hoover shares information on 3 individuals. London Sunday Times reporter Harry Brandon, Kissinger's former aide Morton Halperin, and State Department official William Sullivan, who is overheard speaking to former Ambassador W. Averell Harriman. The wiretaps capture innocuous conversations by Brandon's wife about opposition to Kissinger's Vietnam policies among his former Harvard colleagues and Halpern's plans to quietly resign from the White House staff, where he has been a part-time consultant since stepping down as a top specialist on Kissinger's National Security Council. I had no problem listening to anybody. Document 8. The President, Mr. Kissinger, 7 p.m., June the 1st of 73. Document 9. Attorney General Levi, Secretary Kissinger, March 13th, 1976. Conversation about Halperin lawsuit on illegal wiretaps. Now we talk about Kissinger and Chile. Yeah, document 1. White House telecon conversation on blocking Allende between National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger and Secretary of State William Rogers. Document 2. Committee meeting Monday, September the 14th. In a memorandum to prepare Henry Kissinger for a 40 committee meeting on covert options to block Allende's inauguration in Chile, his top deputy for Latin American, Byron Vacchi, takes the opportunity to warn against U.S. efforts to block Allende. In addition to the cost of the possible exposure to the reputation of the United States abroad, he advances a bold moral argument. What we propose is patently a violation of our own principles and policy tenets. Over the coming days, weeks, and months, Kissinger will chair the 40 committee meetings determining and overseeing covert operations to undermine Allende's presidency. Document 3. Meeting with President on Chile. Document 4. Dr. Kissinger, Mr. Karamessinis, General Haig at the White House. But yeah, we've got all kinds of, they've got all kinds of documents and stuff listed here. You got Kissinger and human rights, Kissinger and Operation Condor, Kissinger and South Asia crisis, Kissinger, Suharto and East Timor, Kissinger in Cuba, the Kissinger telephone conversations, telcons, that's what that meant. Yeah. But, the man had his fingers in a lot of pies. Now, let's look at some of these here. Robed Klansmen meet with Protestant clerics in Portland, Oregon in 1922. It shows how much the Klan did to try to intertwine themselves even in religious institutions. That's why you should always be cautious. I know people go, well, he's religious. That don't mean anything. Honestly, it don't. Some of the most evil people use religion to, kind of coax people to see in their view of things. The Klan. there's other people in history that use religious ideology and iconography. David Koresh. Charles Manson to a point. But yeah, there are a number of people who will use religion. Jim Jones, the guy who took his entire congregation to Africa. South America. It wasn't Africa. He took them to a place in South America. Yeah. And after the visit by a U.S. official, they had some soldiers attack him and his guys when they were trying to leave. And then they gave everybody poisoned Kool-Aid to drink. So yeah, saying, oh, but he's religious, that don't mean anything. And this is a picture, 3 leading members of the White Panther Party, an all-white anti-racist group allied with the Black Panthers. And it has pictured in the founder, John Sinclair's office. John Sinclair is the man in the middle here. Yeah, I never even knew there was a White Panther Party, so very interesting. Alright. Now let's get into some stories. From the AP, an appeals court reinstates gag order that barred Trump from maligning court staff in the New York fraud trial. New York appeals court Thursday reinstated a gag order that barred Donald Trump from commenting about court personnel after the former president and repeatedly disparaged a law clerk in his New York civil fraud trial. The one-sentence decision came 2 weeks after an individual appellate judge put the gag order on hold while the appeals process played out. Trial Judge Arthur Engoron, who imposed the restriction, said he now planned to enforce it rigorously and vigorously. Trump attorney Christopher Kise called it a tragic day for the rule of law. Stephen Chung, a spokesperson for Trump's 2024 presidential campaign, complained that the gag order was nothing but an attempted election interference, which is spelling terrible. It ain't got nothing to do with that. Anyway. Another story from the AP. Russia's Supreme Court effectively outlaws LGBTQ plus activism in a landmark ruling. Which, yeah. Russia's Supreme Court effectively outlawed LGBTQ plus activism on Thursday, the most drastic step against advocates of gay, lesbian, and transgender rights in the increasingly conservative country. Yeah. This is from the New Republic. Trump's 48-hour manic rant had immediate consequences. The former president covered a lot of ground during his recent posting binge. Most of it is insane. The GOP's presidential frontrunner had himself a bit of an unhinged social media binge over the last couple of days, using Truth Social to air his scattered grievances, attacked the wife of the judge overseeing his New York bank fraud trial, and take a wild left turn by claiming sudden allyship with the leader, with the broader Black Lives Matter movement. Kicking off the rapid-fire onslaught of posts late Tuesday, Trump called MSNBC's coverage of the Republican Party illegal activity, adding that the so-called government should come down hard on the news outlet and make them pay. Which, would be against the First Amendment, by the way. Then the former president revived an old gripe that Obamacare sucks, thus reopening the possibility that his campaign will renew the call to repeal and replace. They didn't have an idea to replace it in the first time they tried that BS. Repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act that has dogged the GOP since the law's inception. Less than 20 minutes later, he redirected his attention to the sexual assault allegations made against him by columnist E. Jean Carroll, spewing comments eerily similar to the ones that have already lost him to defamation cases brought by the writer, in which he claimed that the allegations were a made-up fairy tale that was funded by political operatives to interfere with the 2020 presidential elections. Well, I'll do this if you're going to be so picky on that. Over the ensuing hours, Trump also warned that the indictments against him had opened up Pandora's box, which he followed by snubbing his Koch-backed GOP opponent, Nikki Haley, as a very weak and ineffective bird brain. In yet another post, Trump said he had done more for black people than any other president, including Lincoln. He also confused the support of Mark Fisher, the founder of Black Lives Matter Incorporated, for that of the larger national movement, despite statements front and center on BLM Inc.'s webpage that they're not affiliated with any other Black Lives Matter movement. Anyway, yeah. I'll leave the rest for y'all to read. Like I said, I've got the links in the description box as always, so. From Rolling Stone. Florida GOP chair accused of sexually assaulting his threesome partner. Police are investigating Christian Ziegler, husband of Moms for Liberty co-founder Bridget Ziegler, over accusations that he sexually assaulted the couple's alleged partner. Christian Ziegler, the Florida GOP chair and husband of Moms for Liberty co-founder Bridget Ziegler, is under criminal investigations over allegations of sexual battery by a woman who claims to have been involved in a long-term sexual relationship with both of them. According to a police complaint obtained by the Trident, and sources who spoke on the publication, the woman alleges that Christian Ziegler raped her on October the 2nd while the pair were alone in her home in Sarasota, Florida. The police report mentions the phrases raped, sexual assault allegation, and sexually battered, but is otherwise heavily redacted. Sources with knowledge of the investigation told the Trident that police officers executed a search warrant on Ziegler's home and the GOP chair is alleged to have recorded sexual encounters between himself, his wife, and the woman. Charges have not yet been filed against Ziegler and the incident remains under investigation. Why is it when the right always throws accusations, they do so many of the things they accuse others of doing? You know, we've seen right-wingers cheat on their significant others. We've seen right-wingers actually be closetedly homosexual, even despite the fact they're anti-LGBTQ+. It's funny as fuck. And, of course, you know, they make all these claims, but they're guilty of the same thing. You see it over and over and over. They make so many claims and eventually, oh, look what they did. Something's popped up in their past. From the AP, a 6-planet solar system in perfect synchrony has been found in the Milky Way. Astronomers have discovered a rare in-sync solar system with 6 planets moving like a grand cosmic orchestra, untouched by outside forces since their birth billions of years ago. The find, announced Wednesday, can help explain how solar systems across the Milky Way galaxy came to be. This one is 100 light years away in the constellation Coma Berenices. A light year is 5.8 trillion miles. The pair of planet-hunting satellites, NASA's TESS, and the European Space Agency's CHEOPS teamed up for the observations. None of the planets in perfect synchrony are within the star's so-called habitable zone, which means little, if any, likelihood of life, at least as we know it. Yeah. So their orbits remain as they have always remained. Kind of, they follow each other in order. So that is, interesting. I wonder if the planets set more on the inside or outside. Essentially, how close are they all to the particular sun? Their particular star. But yeah. So yeah, remember, it's another solar system in the Milky Way, not the galaxy, or not the universe, but just our galaxy. And there are thousands upon thousands of galaxies in the universe. But in each galaxy, you've got millions and billions of solar systems. And this one they've spotted 5.8 trillion miles, which is 100 light years away. But yeah, the planets seem to be going in a synchronistic orbit. I'm assuming that's what they're referring to. But yeah, none of them are in the habitable zone. Anyway, on to the next piece here. From The Economist, many Arab governments would like to see Hamas gone, and they worry that the war in Gaza will upset their economic plans. They all want the war to end, and they all want someone else to end it. That was the message, at once banal and controversial, from leaders of the 22-member Arab League and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, a grouping of 57 mostly Muslim majority states. It was all to show from an extraordinary summit on November the 11th in Riyadh, the Saudi capital. The meeting came more than a month into the Gaza war that remains a fixture on television screens and in conversations across the Middle East. The plight of the Palestinians captures Arab attention and inflames emotion in a way that the plight of Sudanese or Yemenis or Syrians does not. So yeah. But yeah, they even want to see Hamas gone. They want peace. But what's happening to the Palestinian people by Israel is atrocious and wrong. From Business Insider, new report says the IDF's elite intelligence unit saw signs Hamas was preparing a terror attack. So yeah, they already had hints that, oh, something might be coming. A new report says an elite IDF intelligence unit warned that Hamas was practicing for a big attack. An officer detailed the extensive drills in July, according to Israeli outlet Channel 12. The Hamas exercises reportedly included storming a kibbutz and mass killing. So yeah. But they didn't care. Government of Israel didn't care. Because guess where most of their troops were? It wasn't around Gaza. No, not where the attack happened. Not where Hamas leads, but in the West Bank. To help move more settlers into occupied territory of what is supposed to be Israel and Palestinian territory. Because they wanted the IDF there to help move out all the Palestinian people from their homes and just take them. Because that's what they have been doing for a long time now. Now, let's watch some videos here. This video, former U.S. Marine on the Israel-Palestine conflict.
who condemn terrorism while forgetting to acknowledge that the biggest terrorist on the planet is the United States government for all of its terrorism around the world.
Do you accept that Israel has a right to defend itself?
Absolutely, every country does, and that's exactly why the hypocrisy and the lies of Israel are so transparent. Are you telling me we don't have the right to defend ourselves? When I saw dead bodies on that ship and we were hitting people with bars and sticks, we don't have the right to defend ourselves, but they do they?
Hamas doesn't recognize the right of Israel to exist.
You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like the African National Congress and Nelson Mandela refusing to accept apartheid and recognize apartheid. I say that Israel, if it wants to be a genuine partner in any kind of peace, needs to destroy its whole ideology of Zionism. Zionism that makes other people goyim, who do not deserve to be in the Holy Land. That's the real problem. If Israel will embrace every people, including Palestinians, equally, human rights respected across the board, then I would challenge Hamas to change its charter and say we will acknowledge Israel. But until that time, I see no difference between Nelson Mandela and Hamas in refusing to accept apartheid or the Zionist Israeli state.
Yep. Now, personally, let me acknowledge Hamas is a terrorist organization. That is true. But again, all Palestinians are not Hamas. Yet, all Palestinians in Gaza are being treated as if they are all Hamas. Israel goes, oh, but it's a group they voted in. That was in 2006 because there is no other referendums that were held that allow them to vote for who they would like to lead them. So essentially, modern Gaza has a median age of almost 18 years. Most of the people who lived there weren't even alive during the time. Think about it. Okay, this one. Canadian filmmaker announces her Israeli citizenship.
Last week, I submitted an application to renounce my Israeli citizenship in the consulate here in Toronto. It wasn't a decision I made lightly. I've been thinking about it for a long time. In fact, from the moment I learned about the real history of the place where I grew up, the history that wasn't taught to us in schools or even talked about while I was living there, until last week at the consulate, it's been a really long process that took 2 decades. Yes, I did it in response to Israel's horrific assault on Gaza, but since this isn't the first time that Israel is bombing Gaza, why now? Why this moment? Because the amount of casualties has reached catastrophic proportions, and even though we're in a temporary ceasefire or pause or whatever you want to call it right now, it seems like it's not going to end anytime soon. It feels like Israel is playing a game, even right now, the situation right now, using words like winning, trying to one-up the other side as much as possible, even though the context is thousands of dead civilians. Israeli soldiers make mocking TikTok videos on top of the ruins of Palestinian homes in Gaza. Why am I doing this now? Because more than ever, it's clear to me now that in Israel, peace is not the goal. And I don't know if it ever was.
Yep. See, many Israelis are propagandized from youth, I'll say. I don't want to say brainwashed, because that don't sound right, even though it's effectively what it is, but yeah. But they're propagandized from youth to hate Palestinians, to look at them as nothing more than animals, subhuman. Anyway, this video, Anthony Bourdain on what he would do to Henry Kissinger and why he despised him so much.
A bar, it sounds like a joke. Henry Kissinger and a penguin Henry Kissinger walks into a bar. It sounds like a joke. Henry Kissinger and a penguin walk into a bar. I'm not asking what you do, but would it displease you if I walked over and punched Henry Kissinger in the face? Would you find that entertaining?
I would.
Would you have a frisson of pleasure even? Would you feel that justice is in some small way served?
You hate Henry Kissinger.
I fucking hate him.
Yeah.
Because in my travels, I stumble across his good works everywhere I go.
Right. Let's do this.
A rabbit punch.
No kidney punch.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Oh, my.
Yeah. Just someone who has seen the carnage of Henry Kissinger's policies. Okay. Black girl who was the victim of a racist attack was wrongfully suspended from school after the incident at Shawnee Mission East.
Against racism in
But first here at 6, a violent, racist incident at Shawnee Mission East leads to criminal charges, a student walkout, and conversations about race.
I'm kind of scared to go back because I don't know what to look forward to.
2 weeks ago, a male student hurled a racial slur at a female student in the hallway of the school. That's when a fight ensued between the two. And in the last hour, KSHP 41 News sat down exclusively with the female victim, Brianna Brown, and her mother.
The thought in my head was either I protect myself or I run away from it, or I get beat up and I don't know what else to do. So I chose to stand up for myself.
It really hurt my heart and made me mad. It hurt my heart for my daughter because I didn't want her to ever have to go through that.
Now on Monday, students organized a walkout against racism. And just this afternoon, the male student was charged with aggravated battery.
KSHP 41 News reporter Leslie Delaspore has been following this story and is bringing us the latest details.
Okay, good. They actually got the guy for the verbal assault. So, yeah, I mean, that's at least something.
November 15th at Shawnee Mission East High School. Video obtained by KSHB 41 shows a white male student yell racial slurs at a black female student. A physical fight followed, with the female student suffering a broken nose. According to students who witnessed it, it started after Brown confronted a separate student about using racial slurs. Moments later, as everyone walked away, the white male student yelled more racial slurs. That's when the two moved towards each other and the fight started. We want change! Monday, students participated in a walkout in support of the female, expressing their frustrations with the district. KSHB 41 contacted the district. In a statement, a spokesperson said the district is saddened by the incident, but could not comment on punishment, adding, quote, "While we cannot share specific information about the incident or the district's response, we do want to reassure the community that we take proactive measures to create a safe, educational environment where every student feels a sense of belonging." In Kansas City, Leslie Delasport, KSHB 41 News.
Well, they were claiming the girl was wrongfully suspended. I don't think I heard anything about her being suspended in that piece. That's, Still, yeah, this type of stuff shouldn't be happening nowadays. Oh, let me be a racist dumbass and punch this girl in the nose because I'm a dumbass and thinks I'm good. Anyway, let me make sure I turn that sound down on that. Alright, now. Last video. The testimony of the Jerusalemite Kamzi M. Abbasi about the horrific situation of the Palestinian prisoners in occupation jails. The Red Cross needs to visit the prisons. Occupation jails usually are the ones where they toss the West Bank Palestinians into jail in. So, yeah. Like I said, just so they can more or less take their homes and land.
بداية رحمة الله على الشهداء جميعا في كل رجال الوطن. للأمانة أنا خلفت وراي 7,000 أسير في حال يرثى لها. إحنا 60 يوم ماشي من الشمس، 60 يوم من الضرب. وجبات الضرب صباحا ظهرا مساء بالشكل اللي ما بتتخيل. بداية رحمة الله على الشهداء.
Hold on, dude. I forgot about this being in type, so bear with me here. I'm rewinding it so I can read it here.
بداية رحمة الله على الشهداء جميعا في كل رجال الوطن. للأمانة أنا خلفت وراي 7,000 أسير في حال يرثى لها. إحنا 60 يوم ماشي من الشمس، 60 يوم من الضرب. وجبات الضرب صباحا ظهرا مساء بالشكل اللي ما بتتخيلوه. ضرب على كل أنحاء الجسم، خصوصا في سجن النقب. سجن النقب مقبرة الأحياء. أكثر من 3,000 أسير موجودين في سجن النقب حاليا. منهم يعني ناس مكسرة رجليها، ناس مكسرة ايديها، من ناس مفتحة روسها. رحمة الله على الشهيد ابو غزالة، استشهد كان عنده في القسم، استشهد في القسم 26.
And before you think, oh, martyr is something they do, no, it's just saying someone who has died, who is religious. It don't necessarily mean suicide. Anyway, I'm going to turn the volume down here.
يعني نفسيا وجسديا ومعنويا احنا في حاله يرثى لها. انا يعني اليوم الصبح عرفت عن افراجي، ما بعرف عن افراجي، انا بعرف افراجي بشهر رمضان. فجأت الصبح عرفت الافراج، ما صدقتش حاليا، انا مش مصدق لانه انا بعتبر نفسي كما قال الله يخرج الحي من الميت، يخرج الميت من الحي. فاللي داخل مفقود وطالع مولود للأمان. فلازم تتفعل قضايا تخص الأسرى. الصليب لازم يزور. الصليب الأحمر لليوم مزارج السجون، من مرة مزار السجون. وضع السجون يرثى لها. الشباب مكسرة، الشباب محطمة، ضرب على أبو جنب، تحرش جنسي بالمعتقلين، يعني ترقى لحد الاغتصاب، يعني ببالغش لحد الاغتصاب في الأسرى. شتم علينا 24 ساعة، تمزيق المصحف، تبول على المصحف، منعونا من الأكل، كنا ناكل وجبة في اليوم. أيام طويلة طويلة كنا ننام بالعراء بملابسنا النصكم بفرشات على الأرض بدون غطاء. سحبوا منا كل شيء، حتى شبابيك الغرف سحبوها عشان يعرفوا إن الجو حاليا في الصحراء بارد. كنا منعونا من الأكل، احنا ناكل وجبة في اليوم. أيام طويلة كنا ننام بالعراء بملابسنا النصكم بفرشات على الأرض بدون غطاء. سحبوا منا كل شيء، حتى شبابيك الغرف سحبوها عشان يعرفوا انه الجو حاليا في الصحراء بارد. كنا ننام بعيد عنكم واحنا ماسكين ببعض. المي كانوا يقطعوها عنا، كانت المي توصلنا مية الشرب ساعة في اليوم. حمام السخن، انا امبارح اول امبارح حمامات، انا من 15 يوم لم اعرف طعم الماء. شامبوهات، صوابين، اي شيء نظافة شخصية ما كانت موجودة عندنا. نزعوا منا كل ملابسنا، الملابس اللي بلبسها، هاي البلوزة البيضاء لي 60 يوم لابسها ما غيرتها. يعني الرائحة اللي أنا شميتها ب 60 يوم لا تطاق، تعودنا عليها. يعني اليوم أنا حطيت ريحة للأمانة، يعني مش عارف طبيعة المنظر اللي فيه. منعونا من كل شيء، حلقة شعري من 60 يوم، حلقة شعري، وضع السجون. مش عارف طبيعة المنظر اللي أنا فيه. منعونا من كل شيء، حلقة شعري من 60 يوم، حلقة شعري.
I shaved for the first time in 60 days.
وضع السجون سيء جدا سيء جدا. لازم المحامين يزوروا كل المساجين الموجودين هناك. أسرى القدس، أسرى الداخل، أسرى الضفة الغربية.
Hold on, dude. I'm trying to keep up with you here.
جدا سيء جدا. لازم المحامين يزوروا كل المساجين الموجودين هناك. أسرى القدس، أسرى الداخل، أسرى الضفة الغربية. الوضع سيء جدا خصوصا في سجن النقب. بوصلكم رسالة وأمانة للسجون. المحامين يزوروا السجون ويفعلوا القضايا لأن الوضع في السجون سيء ويرثى له.
You get the idea, though. This is what's happening in the biggest democracy in the Middle East. And again, I say this every video. I think Hamas, the Israeli government, are to blame. Most of the Palestinians in Gaza are just trying to live their lives the best they can with what little they have. And unfortunately, some of the people in Israel have been so badly propagandized and brainwashed. They won't accept Palestinians as people. Honestly, I feel the two-state solution idea is dead. We need to have a coalition come in, keep order, break down the walls around Gaza, anywhere else. We want a one-nation solution where everybody is treated equally. That's the only solution to this, period. Yeah. But anyway, that'll be it for this video. As always, educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I will be putting these links in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.